Did you like how Arnold was on the money?
It's got to be somewhere, I guess.
Yeah, they had to pay a little homage.
Money. That's what I need. Money.
I can't just let you win this game.
Welcome to the Running Man.
All right, so we have a true adaptation of The Running Man.
Which you've read.
I have read recently, yes.
I have not.
Yeah.
So I'm coming at it strictly as just a moviegoer.
Yeah,
that's
kind of
it.
like when we talked about The Long Walk. Except this particular book isn't really that great. It's kind of just one big missed opportunity. Very bleak book. And the 1987 Running Man took the most fun elements of what that story was, boiled it down,
Right.
and then we got
the immortal Arnold classic.
Cult classic.
Here is Sub-Zero! Now, Plane Zero!
Which, you know, we have our own feelings about.
Yeah, and if you guys want to hear our feelings about that, you should go check out our Patreon. We're doing some like retro reviews on there, and that was our first review.
Yes.
So if you guys want to hear our opinion about that, feel free to peruse.
It's there, but...
and so we are probably going to kind of relate back to...
We'll reference it a little bit, yeah. Because it's kind of hard not to, considering how the 87 one was...
What we should say for this audience about the 87 version, I like the movie a lot. I think it's fucking great. It's fun. But
yeah,
to
it's
me,
a little rough. It's not, not his best.
It's extremely rough. And to me, it's like there are some movies that you can remake, you know, and there's some that you're not going to remake Back to the Future. You're not going to remake fucking Indiana Jones.
Right.
Not going to happen.
Yeah.
That's sacrilegious.
Yes. This one, though...
Running Man is not one of those movies.
We were okay with...
I was okay with the fact that they were toying with making a remake. Not a problem for me. So I can seriously set aside my biases for the 87 version in this. Like, I really have none.
Give me a break and shut up.
I'm not going to be comparing it to the 87 version, which is not high art.
No, the 87 version is just its own thing.
Yeah.
Ben Richards is pretty much all you get from the book with that, and, you know, Killian, and that's pretty much it. The rest is just, they just did what they wanted. This one, though, is actually a pretty faithful adaptation to the book, which, you know, itself is not the best book, except, of course, the end. They cannot help themselves. Hollywood cannot help themselves with flipping the script.
Of course.
But up until the end, it's actually pretty faithful.
Yeah, sure.
We saw this one separately.
We did.
So you were not as big of a fan as I was.
No, I fucking hated this movie.
And I actually didn't think it was that bad.
So, and my theory as to why that is because A, you just read the book, and correct me if I'm wrong, it just seems like maybe because it followed so close to the book, you're kind of cool with that aspect. You're like, hey, they followed the book.
No, and you're right, that's where it's coming from. Like, I was actually surprised, pleasantly, even though it's not the best book, they were still very faithful to it.
Yeah.
And the elements of the book that were kind of boring, they made a little more exciting.
Well, see,
even though, like, but
this movie still is boring as fuck.
Right, but like, if you don't know the book at all, and then I didn't know the book at all, I'd be like, yeah, this is like kind of a weak attempt to do this type of story. But I was kind of just like, okay, but they're following it, and I was just surprised that they stuck with it.
Okay,
I thought they were going to change a lot.
If there's any props that I can give this movie, I guess it's just that hey, it's a faithful adaptation.
Yeah,
cool.
Mostly faithful,
except for the end.
Except for the end,
which
is
I know
like
what happens at the end.
A 180.
Yes,
and we'll get into that. There will be spoilers.
Got it.
First of all, I'm not the biggest Edgar Wright fan. For example, I hate Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
Yeah.
But I remember when I saw it, I thought, you know, this movie is a piece of shit, but it's so well made.
Yeah.
You know, the guy...
He's got a good eye. He's got the style and the flair for that type of story. Yeah.
Everyone loves Hot Fuzz. I don't care for it. I don't like it. But I did like Shaun of the Dead. To me, that's still his best movie. And I think I've seen everything that he's done except for Baby Driver. So I can't say
Baby Driver I actually like a lot.
Okay.
It's pretty solid. I enjoyed Last Night in Soho.
Oh, I haven't seen that either. So there's two movies
It's pretty good, yeah.
All right. This movie does not have that like signature Edgar Wright energy in it. And when you watch the trailer, it looks like it's going to be this like zany, crazy Edgar Wright adventure.
And I was actually worried it was going to be like that because like I like Edgar Wright, but like he's not my favorite. Like, I like Shaun of the Dead and, like Hot Fuzz or whatever, but I'm not like crazy about those movies. So I was worried that it was going to be a little too zany. And because it was restrained in that regard, I think that's why I liked it more.
Okay, well, see, that was annoying. Because to me, it's like, all right, the story's going to be this lame and things are this low T. Can we at least have some Edgar Wright craziness going on?
That, yeah.
Kind of like what the Schwarzenegger version did. That movie kind of just took the concept and just ran with it and had fun and like did its own thing.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's sort of one of those concepts that's right to do that, depending on who's behind the camera.
Right.
So might as well kind of just Edgar Wright the shit out of this movie.
Yeah, no, and that's probably my biggest critique about the bulk of the film is the hunters. And that how the stalkers in the 87 version, they are like so over the top. And then if you go back to the source material, they're like non-existent. Like they talk about like, oh, you're being chased by like assassins. And then you never see any of them. There's like one in the book and like he doesn't do shit until the end.
Okay.
And then the 87 version like took it like to the max. And it's like, that's what makes that movie so much fun. And then this one, it's like, yeah, they're there, but they're not that colorful or unique.
Okay.
Right, you get the one guy who wears the mask, and it's like
wasted Lee Pace role.
Right, and then you get the other four, and they're just kind of like whatever. Like that's your opportunity to slap that Edgar Wright zaniness on it.
Exactly.
If that's where you're going to do it, that's the place to do it.
I'm still here, you shit eaters.
In terms of the story, we all know the story.
It's very straightforward.
It's very straightforward. Dystopian future. You got the haves and the have-nots, and.
You've got a very down on his luck main character, Ben Richards.
Ben Richards. He needs some medicine for his sick daughter. He decides to join the network games where he can make a little money. But he's so perfect. He's primed. They put him in the Running Man because he's just got all the right skills to be the final guy.
So now he's on the show, The Running Man, which you have to survive for 30 days.
30 days out in the world.
Out in the world.
Well, there's network assassins basically chasing you, and if like citizens see you, they can report you, and he's on the run.
I feel like they could have actually made the 30-day thing work, and they could have made it like balls out crazy, just constantly shit happening to him. But in this movie, basically he's got two big opportunities where he's like good if he just like lays low. And both times they just give him bullshit excuses as to why he can't stay in the scenario he's in.
Right.
He finds shelter with these people.
In Boston.
Yeah. And then like they show a tape of him and it's a deep fake, and immediately the mother of the family wants him out.
Now, he could have basically just stayed there.
He could have just stayed there.
Right, but instead they're like, oh no, you have to go like meet up with this guy in Maine because...
Maine.
Derry, of course. He's part of this underground thing, and it's like, well, why do you have to go to him?
Sure.
You could just stay here.
Yeah. But then when he does go to that person, it's a very underused Michael Cera. When he's there, he could have perfectly just laid low the rest of the time there.
Yeah, they had like the bunker they were building up, like, oh, you can go like stay in this bunker. Yeah. And then fucking Michael Cera blows it because he's like, he wants a fight, so he hits the alarm.
Stupid!
It's fucking stupid.
Fucking dumb. It reminded me of like the excuse that they gave in Sinners when like the chick like lets them in.
Yeah, when she tells them to come.
Yeah,
exactly.
Because the movie has to happen, you know?
Like, but it's like, it plays out in the book the same way, where the mom's just like, oh, it's him, he's here, and she's the one that fucking alerts the authorities.
That would make sense.
And they just show up.
Yeah.
But they had to give that weird little quirk to Michael Cera, him and his hot dog vendor dad. Like,
stupid.
That's kind of a little bit of that goofy tone that comes in, and even Glenn Powell's kind of like, okay, dude, cool. Can we get the fuck out of here?
Yeah.
I wish the movie had either gone full serious or just go zany fucking nuts.
Exactly.
It kind of plays it safe in the middle.
It has this weird tone, and it's just boring. Like, and the biggest problem with the movie, unfortunately, is Glenn Powell. He's bordering on like one of those Jai Courtney actors where Hollywood's trying to make happen, but you're like, I don't want to see this guy's fucking face anymore. I'm sick of him, you know? I'm not saying Glenn Powell is as bad as him, but bordering that. I remember it was like 40 minutes into the movie, and I'm like, okay, they're telling us that he's like the perfect guy for this, but we haven't seen shit from this guy. Like, he hasn't like beaten the hell out of someone or like shown any display of competency or just like badassery. Like Schwarzenegger in the original,
Oh, right off the bat.
As bad as that movie is, whatever, like there's no questioning any of that.
Yeah.
If anyone can do The Running Man, it's him.
Yeah.
Like he's gonna beat the shit out of all those people.
Right.
You know, like
just look at the guy.
Yeah, it's exactly. Just look at the guy, and it's just a matter of time before he goes back, and I'll be back, Killian. You know, like
only in reruns.
Yeah.
Fucking great. And that's another thing. So I like Glenn Powell. I think he's got a good screen presence, but like you said in this, like he's underutilized. And then you have Josh Brolin playing the main antagonist, Killian. And in the 87 one, that character is the host and the producer all rolled up into one.
They merged the two characters.
Yeah, they merged it. And Richard Dawson is fucking amazing in that role.
Sensational.
Brolin is good, but he's no Richard Dawson in this.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, and some of that's kind of not fair because perhaps if they did roll the two characters into one,
that's the thing.
he could have done that.
You get Bobby T and then you get Killian.
Yeah.
Because they are separate characters. And, the guy playing Bobby T, liked him.
It's fine.
I liked Brolin, but like if they had merged them, that would have been a fantastic character.
I want to see Brolin in that game show host role.
That would have been interesting to see.
Yeah, even though Brolin is good and he actually delivers the best line in the movie. He says, "Don't think before you speak. That's for pussies."
Yeah,
that's a great line.
When he's walking him to the stage.
That's the best line in the movie. Like the whole movie needed to be like that.
Right, that's the thing. That's what it was missing, and he was just amping up a little bit.
Going back to what I was saying about Edgar Wright, if I didn't know that he made this movie and I just walked in,
you wouldn't really know.
You wouldn't know it's an Edgar Wright movie, and like there's just no energy, no pulse to it. Like the original has.
Well, the original definitely has a pulse of its own.
It does, exactly. Edgar Wright's usually really good at action. Not so much in this.
Yeah, because there's just not that much of it. And him being so faithful to the source material, you just don't get much of it. When he kidnaps the girl towards the end, when he takes the car.
Comes out of nowhere.
That's actually a large chunk of the book. Like the whole tail end of the book is that. It's very condensed in the movie, and then she's just kind of along for the ride. They really start to compress things as we get close to the end of the film, to the point where once they're on the plane and that whole thing goes down, and then Killian calls him up and tells him like the news and then tries to get him to be a hunter. That's pretty much the point where it switches from like, now we're telling our own story here.
Yeah.
And that's where it goes super Hollywood, and you can tell they just tack that shit on, and they just give you this vomiting montage of just all this shit happens off screen. And then it ends with them storming the studio, and it's like, whoa. When did this all happen? How did this how did this get organized? This happened right after we bailed out of the plane. Like all this shit just gets tacked on in the end, and you're just like, okay, fuck this. If they had actually stuck with the book ending, first of all, like I knew they weren't going to do it, because it's fucking brutal, then the tone of the movie wouldn't have fit.
Sure.
Just by watching the movie, you could tell like the tone is totally wrong for how this is going to end. So there was no other way they were going to end it. And I wasn't even upset with like the changes they made in the end. It's just how they did it.
Well, if you think about it, it's actually the exact same ending as the original. He goes back and then he kills Killian.
One of us is in deep trouble.
He doesn't fly the plane into the building. He bails out of the plane in some secret little escape.
He does. It's like when fucking Dark Knight Rises, when somehow Batman gets out of the bat at the end, and it's how did that happen?
Yeah, and then once he hits the ground, he Antifas up and meets up with his little
all the revolutionaries at the end, like they're all dressed up like Antifa.
Right, but like, how did he meet up with them so quickly and then join up to like storm the studio? Like, how was that all put together? That was all just slapped together at the end.
Well, I got the sense that it was some time later that this was happening.
But that's what's confusing about it.
Yeah.
Because it happens when Josh Brolin goes out onto the stage to try and win the crowd back over. He was down there for that purpose.
That's weird. I just got the impression that this was
it would have to be
weeks later.
Right, but why would he be down there? So like, is he just hosting the show now?
I don't know.
No, don't you understand it?
Don't they show the scene where he finds his wife? Isn't that before?
Yeah. It's just like, I just took that as happening after the Killian thing.
Oh, I didn't. See, that's why I got the sense that there was a passage of time.
Well, maybe you guys know, because...
Who fucking cares?
Who fucking cares, right? It doesn't matter. Because once Killian calls him up on that plane and tells him, like, oh, your wife and child have been murdered in a home invasion. He loses his fucking mind, He goes berserk, and then Killian's like, well, come on. If your family was really alive, I would just use them as leverage and hold them at gunpoint to make you do this new show. This is where it falls apart, because they are alive still. Mm-hmm. He's lying.
Yeah.
So Why wouldn't you just do that?
In the first place.
Why wouldn't you just do it in the first place? Because you know he's going to go batshit crazy and try to take the plane down. And then he's not listening to what you want him to do, so you're like, fuck it, we'll just shoot the plane down. It's like, well, if his family was actually dead, then there is no play. There is no, like, bluffing there.
Yeah.
But this family was alive. So why wouldn't you just hold him at gunpoint and force him to do it? Like, that totally fell apart because, you know, spoiler, in the book, his family does get murdered.
Right.
And he, like, loses his shit, takes over the plane, and flies it into the network building. Fucking brutal ending, but consistent with the story you just read. It's probably the best part of the story. The rest of the story is kind of weak, but that ending's fucking brutal. You think it's going to go that route, and then because they change those details up, it's like, well, this plan doesn't work anymore.
Right.
You totally fucked it up, which pissed me off.
Yeah, it's annoying. Well, it's just like the whole mechanics of the show is annoying in general. Obviously, the time that we live in right now in 2025, AI, deepfakes, all of those things, we're very, as a society, kind of conditioned to those things now, or at least we're certainly becoming conditioned to those things. Yeah. This movie takes place in the future where this stuff has gone on for who knows how many decades, yet audiences are like retarded, and they don't even consider that shit can be deepfaked. It's so weird.
Yeah.
They'll take those tapes that Ben Richards has to send in, and they change what he says, like visually and audio. Like it's completely different what he says. And the audience is just like, yeah! They believe it.
Right.
And then there's one point in the movie where Josh Brolin, it shows like a fake trailer basically of Ben Richards, the show that he wants to do after Hunter 6.
Yeah.
Which is obviously all deepfaked and AI'd.
Right.
Whatever. And the audience they're watching it and they're like, yeah. They know, the audience knows that this has not happened yet.
Already. Yeah.
Yes. So there has to be some sort of concept of media manipulation.
Right.
But they just go with it. And like, I get maybe this part of the social commentary is society is so stupid by then.
Yeah.
That could perhaps be like an idiocracy sort of thing.
Right.
I don't know. But when you're watching it and we're kind of living in the world that we live in, and now we're seeing this movie, which sort of has like when did the book come out, in the 80s?
It came out early 80s,
Well, it has like an early 80s interpretation of what the future might be like. And they kind of maintained that as opposed to taking what's actually going on right now and applied that to the movie. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's just weird. It just kind of took me out of it. I just kept thinking to myself, why the fuck?
Who's buying this shit?
Yeah, who's buying this shit? Yeah.
That whole ending was just so fucking tacked on and sloppy.
Oh, it was bad. You know, honestly, the movie reminded me a lot of the RoboCop remake. It felt very similar in terms of like how you have the original, the kind of beast the original was, and then remaking that. Mm-hmm. Now, original Running Man is not the original RoboCop by any sense.
No.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The RoboCop remake has the same problems as this Running Man remake does. There's like no energy. It's got a weird pace to it, weird tone to it that they did not quite lock down. You watch the original RoboCop, it's fucking awesome. It's amazing. One-liners, memorable moments, and then the remake is just this bland, modern day pile of
RoboCop
shit.
movie sucks.
Yeah, it sucks.
Yeah.
And this felt the same way.
Yeah, this like
bland.
It tried to do a few similar things, like some of the commercials and then the game shows. You know, like the guy running on the treadmill and then he has like a heart attack. And you know, they tried to do some of that stuff. It didn't hit the same way.
No.
They were like obsessed with this one show called The Americanos, which was like a Kardashian ripoff, and like it just kept cutting to, and everyone's just like watching that, and it's like.
But that's just it. He could have taken that stuff farther.
Yes, that's the stuff that could have really been pushed further.
Yeah, because there was really nothing to that. It just seemed like a normal reality show that would be shown today. There was really nothing that made it different. And maybe that's the point. I don't know. But it was just an opportunity to like really exaggerate it and make it funny as hell.
Yeah.
They just didn't do it.
You know, a very negative attitude.
All right, well, let's not waste any more time. And we'll get into our rankings.
It's showtime.
Well, I'm going to give this movie a 4 out of 10.
All right. Yeah, no, I'm glad we had this conversation because it helped me put a few things into perspective. So I ended up at a 5.5. That is a divide. That is a 1.5 divide. But still, I didn't think it was horrible.
I thought it was kind of horrible. Like, I was just bored out of my mind.
Yeah.
I mean, I can imagine, though, if you read the book and you're watching it, you're kind of like, oh shit, cool! Like you're familiar with everything,
and that's where
and
I
you're
was
seeing it kind of come to life.
From. Yeah,
and so that's kind of cool, especially because it's so annoying that Hollywood will take a book, a beloved book, something that everyone likes, and they put their own spin on it. They have to change things just to change things for whatever fucking reason. That's annoying. This movie doesn't do that. I guess it should be commended for that, but this is actually one of those rare cases where maybe they should have.
Yeah, right. And now that we've discussed it, yes, I agree. Because, you know, when I read the book, like, I was so impacted by the end of the book that I kind of pushed the rest of the book out of my mind. And I was just thinking about that end. And then the more I started thinking about the rest of the book, I was like, yeah, I guess it's not really that great of a book.
Yeah, well, I remember when you read it, we were talking about it a little, and you were like, yeah, it's not his greatest book.
Yeah.
But you did say the ending was pretty bleak.
Pretty bleak.
And pretty strong. It left an impact on you.
It left an impact, right? Yeah. So I was curious to see how faithful they were going to be to this because, you know, this is the true adaptation, you know, not like that 87 version. So I was pleasantly surprised that they did stick to it, but, you know, they really could have pushed it a lot further.
Should have.
Yeah.
Well, that hit the spot.
Now, on our other scale.
The rainbow scale.
Now, obviously, this movie has a lot of the themes and messaging that are present in the
novel.
The novel, and of course the 87 version.
Sure.
You know, the media manipulation, the dumbing down of the masses, all that stuff. The reality shows, all that shit. It's all there. There's a few other little things that, you know, you could tell it's got that modern paint on it. Right off the bat, his family. You just can't escape the...
He's got the family that every commercial has.
Exactly. You can't escape it.
I will say this, though. I think that's the same chick that plays the mayor in the Batman. She is so fucking insufferable in that movie. Yeah. And like, whenever I see her face, I'm just like, oh my God, shut up.
Yeah.
And I saw her in the trailer and I thought, oh my God, fuck, this is gonna be so annoying. She didn't bother me. They still can't help themselves, though.
They still can't help themselves. They gotta
give them the multiracial family.
Yeah. Of course.
You know, honestly, for a movie that's very heavy on social commentary, it didn't really adopt the social issues that we have today.
Yeah,
and like,
it didn't really go too far with that.
It really didn't.
Because you already have so much to work with what's built into this film already.
Yeah, just the source material. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I guess good for them for not doing that. I didn't feel like I was having an agenda shoved down my throat.
Yeah.
Except for, of course, you know, like you said earlier, when they show up at the end, all the good guys are dressed up like Antifa. Like, they look just like them.
Right.
So you have that imagery.
Yeah.
You know, like people that dress like this good.
Right.
Corporate America bad.
Yes. Well, you know, that shit's baked into this story. I only went 1.5.
Yeah, that's fair. That's kind of where I'm at too.
Yeah. Nothing too preachy in this in terms of that scale.
Well, you must be very proud of yourself.
I guess you wouldn't recommend it?
Fuck no.
Yeah. I guess I probably wouldn't recommend it either unless you are familiar with the book and you kind of like the book or you think the book's okay, then maybe you might enjoy it. But if you're not down with the book, then like just watch the 1987 one.
That one still reigns supreme.
Somehow.